fade out tonight. There we go. Easing into the show. What's going on, folks? It's Friday night, 7:30. Y'all know what that means. It is time for Panhandle Fishing Report. I'm your host, Smitty, with Smitty Surf Fishing, and with me always is my co-host.
What is up, everybody? It is Demo from Finding Demo Surf Fishing Podcast. Welcome to the weekend, and we have got one special guest and a ton of other cool stuff coming to you tonight. So if you don't have your pad, and you didn't learn from last week to have a pad and paper ready, this might be the week to have it. So I hope y'all are ready. It's going to be real.
Christopher Lohr, what is up, buddy?
North Carolina.
North Kakalaki.
Hey, Carl. What are you doing,
Carl?
Aren't you supposed to be at work?
What is going on, Mr. Phelps? Carl's tearing up the fish, man.
Carl has been on it, man. He has been doing quite well this year. I mean, he's a good fisherman anyway. Don't listen to what he says. He is a good angler. He is really, really well done in this, and he's been getting better and better. So
extremely humble angler, I will say. He
very
is very humble in he's like, well, no, but yeah. And then anybody who brings a cooler of 50-some whiting back to the house, and interesting fact, feeds some to his chickens. He definitely takes care of his animals as well. I wouldn't have thought to feed whiting to my chickens.
No, that's bougie chickens right there. That's what it is. Bougie chickens. Damn you, Carl. My chickens aren't getting fish because I'm snooty and I'm going to get the hell out of it. Dustin, East Coast Florida. What up? Jason, just down the street. How are you tonight? Donnie, always good to see your name coming across, man. Always good.
Absolutely. Ready for some Runt Rod action. Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about that tonight.
Just make my copy of my notes, Tom. My notes are, I'm hiding my notes this time.
Yeah, our notes don't, it's just back and forth for Brian and I.
I just got this right here. I mean, there's no chance for me to take notes tonight. I'll go back and watch the show, but a lot of it gets plugged. Go ahead.
But that is an idea.
What's that? Go back and do show notes?
Like you and I were talking about.
The other thing?
The other thing. Access to the green room and show notes. How many folks would be interested in that? That's what I want to know.
Want a backstage pass?
Backstage pass. Show notes, all the things Brian and I go back and forth with, and as well as access to the green room. See what's going on behind the scenes, all the comments, all that good stuff. Maybe something coming up first of the year. You never know.
Accessing the private chat, all sorts of fun stuff. Just keep your ears open because there's some things working. We got a couple of changes here, a couple of fun stuff, but we'll see. Bruce, well, thank you. You're an awesome dude. I look forward to when you come back, man. We're gonna have to go fish. I mean, we
Navarians.
That's pretty good. I like that one.
Yeah, it is.
Andy's just getting into the fishing game very heavily. If you guys haven't met him yet, we met at the weigh-in. We were actually messaging back and forth last night. We were talking about the good old redfish rigs, getting ourselves set up since the reds are still kind of playing, the old slider rig and the old just single drop. He's got some cool stuff getting planned. So I'm excited to see him catch some monsters. But Andy, the cool part about this time of year, and Tony might talk about it because it's probably going to get caught on his rod. Big ass black drum.
Yes.
Yeah. The winter time, it's tank season, baby. It is tank season.
Big uglies up and down. And this cold snap, we'll get into it a little later on. Yeah, but before we get any further, this week's show is sponsored by Go Mexis. Use code SURF to save 10% on your power knobs. Power knobs only right now. But I did get a message from my contact there, Vernon, and they just put it out to everybody today. They have a killer sale coming up. It starts the 21st. So in 2 days, it's called the pre-Black Friday sale, where if you spend $79 or more, you get a free cork knob and a Go Mexis hat with your order. All details can be found on their website at gomexis.com. They also have a Black Friday sale with additional discounts on selected items. Again, all details there at their website at gomexis.com. Go check them out.
That's going to be a good deal to get your hands on there. And as always, everybody, we have a great show coming up tonight. We got a great guest that doesn't need any introduction. So if you haven't started sharing this out into your network, share it out, because you always know if you're learning something, they're going to learn something. It's the premise of everything that Mike and I have started with this whole thing. It's how he does stuff with his charter. It's how I do stuff on my podcast. This is a knowledge-based platform, and we're here to help. So keep sharing that word for people to get better and come back and take a look at this. So get that one out there.
Absolutely. Dylan, What is going on, buddy?
Oh, good to see
Good
you.
to see your last post.
Yeah, it was.
There on Facebook. Way to go, Blaine, on a 10-foot plus tiger, I think it was, and a dusky. I don't know if the dusky was 9 something, I think. But man, still, that tiger is a beautiful, beautiful shark. Awesome. Good evening from Virginia, Facebook user. We don't know who you are.
I know who that is. Why is
you
it
know who it is?
user again?
Okay.
Damn it.
Is it coming from your site? From your side, you think?
I got 5 people watching from Finding Demo Surf Fishing. I don't know, but more than likely that is probably Rob.
34 degrees. Oh yeah, Rob. He's been on before. 34 degrees, and that's about what it is here in Navarre. Don't let it fool you. I got my hoodie on. Brian's got his blue flannel there in the house. It is cold down here, and again, we'll jump into that when we get a little further. So, if you guys have been following tonight's episode, we got Mr. Tony Faggioni on tonight, who I think is started this whole Runt Rod craze down here. I've said it on my social media posts and things. If you guys haven't started doing Runt Rod fishing just yet, go ahead and break out the pen and paper, because tonight you're going to learn some things on what it does and what's happening. Matt Coltrane, what is up, buddy?
Bring him. Going old school there with the name. I see that.
Yeah, he another Air Force chief friend of mine, and who's getting ready to retire here soon from the Air Force. So, congratulations on your years of service. Welcome to the DD 214 Club, as many of us are proud card-carrying members.
It's a lovely club to be a part of. I love that day. What are you drinking tonight, by the way? That's supposed to be earlier in the show notes, isn't it? I didn't think that was supposed to be later in the show notes.
Yeah, that's early. That I'm drinking. I went back to Black Saddle tonight. That's what I'm hitting on. Beautiful 12-year-old aged bourbon whiskey. It's nice. It's delicious. I don't know who the actual distiller is. Franklin Distilleries.
Are you wearing your glasses?
Out of Fairfield, California. Oh, California. They're the distributor. I know this isn't made in California. I would be shocked if this is made in California. And a little disappointed, I'll be honest. Anyway,
at least we got that one in there.
Shocked and disappointed. All right. So tonight, Runt Rod fishing. That's what we're going to talk about. Without further ado, let's bring down these and bring up our guest, Mr. Tony Faggioni. Welcome to the show.
What is up, guys? How y'all doing? Hello, listening audience. Thank you for tuning in to tonight as well. And listen, it's the first time I've ever been live on a show before. So I want to thank you both for this opportunity.
Yes,
it is a blessing, and you guys are serving this community so well. And I'm glad to be a part of this with y'all tonight.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I miss Fishgum TV. I mean, if we're going to bring up old stuff,
I'm going to be honest. TV. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll have to do that now. Fishgum TV was my thing, but to be a guest was the first thing. This is the first time it's ever happened to me, so I appreciate this, guys.
Awesome. Looks like you got everybody on the shirt there. You got Demo and Sword and some salty stuff, and
even got the shiny
Smitty's.
Yeah, I spilled some chili on my shirt tonight, and I felt like putting stickers over each chili spot would be very nice. I'm just kidding. I want to support you guys. Awesome stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you. And the comments are coming right in. Here we go.
What's up, Mr. Thomas Mordeens? Good to see you, my friend.
We got Chris there. Oh, Lore following
Salt Squatch coming in. Paul. Good to see you.
Love the Squatch.
Absolutely.
And then looks like we're there. So without were you clicking?
I was clicking at the same time. So Brian and I both have controls when we're here. So we don't coordinate everything just the way we should, I guess.
We'll have an engineer one day when we're rich and famous.
Yes, you will.
One day.
All right, man. So what do we got going on here? The whole thing with the Runt Rod about a year ago. Was it about? Yeah, it was about then. Started out as an idea.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it became like, holy crap, we need to do this.
Yeah.
So how did you get there? And let's just go down it, man. How did this happen?
If you think about it, I think, Blake Hunter says a good quote about YouTubers is that they get you to click on videos, right? And guides get you on fish. And I think a lot of the Runt Rod was capitalizing on ultralight fishing and bringing it into the surf, really just to hopefully catch a big fish or something that would get some viewers to click on the video, right? So that's where you kind of start. And then as I began to use it more, I realized I've caught more fish than I ever have on that rod. And if you ever follow my channel from the beginning, I never used to catch whiting at all. I never did. And this setup, as we've used it more, as other people started to incorporate it, it's been a whiting slayer. You can catch, redfish on it, pompano. It really forces you, Brian, you've said this before, it forces you to fish that first gut because you really can't cast that far. And it really makes you use a lot lighter tackle from the braid that you have on there. I do have a shock leader on mine. The baits you use are smaller. And so you're really using a smaller presentation that could just be a quick, tasty snack. Now, that is an ultra runt rod. that is an ice fishing rod. That's my PB whiting right there. That's a 2-foot ice fishing rod. So that was a pretty big whiting. I think it weighed 2.3 pounds. And so this year alone, I think I've caught 3 2-pound whiting. And I never, like I said, never used to catch those at all. I would fish the first gut, right, with heavier tackle. And this style of fishing for these bigger whiting is really a finesse style. And so that's how it started. It started really as to get clicks from catching big fish on a ultralight setup to really being a necessity of what rod I bring to the surf with me each and every time fishing.
Yeah, that one right there. I remember that day because that was 10 pounds. That was super ultra light line. I want to say it was 10 or less. But the biggest thing that I took away from that video was this is the training you need for drag manipulation.
Sure.
And you both handled that really well. But it was that was in the beginning phases of the Runt Rod craze. And it just completely started turning more and more and more. And everything just blew up from there.
That's right. That one was on a Runt Rod, and I was using a Miradyne walker on the bay, and that it slammed it. And it was an incredible fight. So not only am I using it for surf fishing, I actually keep a Runt Rod in my car because it's small enough where if I'm at work, I want to, maybe hook you a little bit and try some fishing and some waters I haven't tried. I'll throw something out there, and the runt is concealable right in my car. So
there you go.
And also you can take it really anywhere you got to go, as opposed to taking a 12-footer to work with you. That'd be kind of awkward.
And that looks like a summertime limit of pompano.
Yep, half of those were caught on a 4'6" rod, fishing up close. That was an Alabama limit times 2. And it was incredible. And listen, the thrill of the fight is a lot of the Runt Rod action as well. I mean, to feel the fish, the drag peeling off, especially that one redfish that Dave caught. It was cool to see his excitement because you really feel everything that fish has to give you out there using that Runt Rod.
Mm-hmm. It's like pure panic for me because I've switched because I still got I still got the ice fishing rod that I'll use sparingly, but then I finally started taking the other rod, my FX, out because it's only a 5-footer, but you get a little whiting and that rod likes to bend over. But that whole excitement of what you normally feel on a 12-footer, like you catch a pompano on a 12-footer, you're like, ooh, you get a little excited. But you get that Runt Rod in action, and you could have a foot-long whiting. Hell, you could have a catfish. And that fight is like, it throws you off. You're like, I don't know what this is. This is the greatest day ever. It's such a great feel and great fight. If you're not doing it, you're missing out on that one piece of you're no longer overpowering the fish. It's an even match.
Exactly. It really is. And this time of year, the last 3 outings that I've had, I would probably say I maybe have caught 3 fish on your traditional surf fishing rods, 12-foot, 10-foot, and about 30 fish on the Runt Rod. And so, whereas, in 3 outings, 3 fish would piss me off, right? That was terrible. 1 fish averaging. Now you get 30 whiting. You're really capitalizing on when it gets kind of tough to fish in the surf. And that Runt Rod, you can downside your tackle during this time of the year, bring less, and have a ton of fun. And I know Mike, you were out there that one day when I was having the run for the first time, and I was like, you know what, let's leave this for your clients. Let's let them check this out. And I would say from a guide standpoint, you know, you're having the Runt Rod action for your clients, and they're probably having an incredible time.
And I was going to go right into that, but it's, you know, skeptical at first. I was like, there is no way. And I sent you a preview of the article for coming up in Coastal Angler, and I was like, there's no way this is going to work in the surf. Like that, like why are we even doing this? But man, when you, and someone made a comment here, I'll bring it up here in a second, but it, especially because a lot of my trips are with kids and stuff. And when a kid sees that rod bend over and it's just screaming, and you're using, I got mine sitting right here. Make sure I don't hit the fan, but you're using that little rod and reel combo right there, you know, with a little number 4 hook. And they're catching everything from whiting to pompano and everything. And then it's funny because the kids are having a lot of fun, but then the parents want to jump in it because they hear the drag screaming. They hear, and I tell everybody, the most watched rod in the set rig lineup is the Runt Rod and whatever I have cut bait on. Whatever we throw out for cut bait, because that's going to end up with a bigger fish, typically a bigger red or a shark or something like that. And then the Runt Rod, because it's just a great fight. You know,
it stays very busy. That's for sure out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Where did that comment go? So, Mr. Tresner here says they used them all the time up north crappie fishing and standing timber. And I know you had done that's maybe where a couple of the Runt Rods came from, is you did some crappie fishing up in northern Alabama, right?
So in northern Alabama with my uncle as well in Georgia, they do this style called vertical jigging off of docks and covered boat slips. And it's basically a 1-inch tube jig, and you drop it straight down and you begin to twitch it with the Runt Rod and reel in very slowly. You know, you catch 2 and 3 pound slabs for crappie. And again, I mean, that's a good fish.
Yeah.
And to make that translate over to the surf, you know, it can't work every outing, right? But for the most part, if you've got less than 2 foot waves, you can fish that first gut. And sometimes I know you can even fish just right when the water goes back into the surf. In that little break, you can just toss the runt right in there and catch some nice size whiting. But you're right, Mike. I mean, doing the crappie fishing, there's a lot of things that translate over to what we're doing in the surf with the Runt Rod.
You had a question come in from Richard.
Okay, so that's a great question. I first started with a 500 series reel. I still have it on here. Here's my 2 runts. One is made by Mr. John Lohr. It's a custom Runt Rod on an old ugly stick 4'6" blank. And the other one is an actual potential Runt Rod to come out for Fishgum. I'm working out some details, but that's also on a fiberglass blank. But this one has a 1000 Sienna. I mean, that's a $19.99, $25 reel. There's a 500 series as well. If you do use this size rod or size reel, you're going to want to pack it with 8-pound braid. And then I do a shock leader of 10-pound fluorocarbon, and it's about 10 feet, because those whiting, the big ones especially, they can see the braid. And I believe we should be catching the record each year, but we don't, because we're not using that light tackle to get those big ones. So they see the braid, and I expect the more we use these Runt Rods, the more stud whitings are going to be caught, and potentially more records broken in that class. So yes, 500 series or a 1000 series, you will get spooled if you don't have that 8-pound braid on there. If you're just going straight mono, it's just not enough. It does not hold enough line. But going down in the braid size to 8-pound, maybe even 6, you can get more line on there, because sometimes you're going to have a big fight with the redfish, and you got to be ready with extra line. So the 1000 and the 500 series are what I use.
Awesome. So I know someone else posted, I think it was Bruce, who asked the question in Panhandle surf fishing site as to what rod length constitutes a Runt Rod.
So I want to be a stickler and give a certain size limit, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say an ultralight rod is a runt rod. If it's 6 and it's rated UL, then that constitutes as a runt rod. I personally only use 4'6". I believe 5's a runt rod. Again, it's the classification of being ultralight tackle. You know, we already fish with light tackle in the surf, 8, 7-foot rods. That's considered light tackle compared to your 12, 13, 14 footers. But again, an ultralight rating. I do prefer a fiberglass rod. I do have some graphites out there. The very first runt that I ever had made, it was fiberglass. Excuse me, it was graphite, and it's broken. So I'm slinging 2-ounce pyramids with the runt rod, just on that Carolina rig. If that question comes up, Carolina rig with the 2-ounce pyramid, 8 to 12 pound fluorocarbon size 4 hook. And so the graphite will eventually crack down here at the base of the rod if you're slinging anything 2 ounce and greater. Because these aren't rated for 2 or 1 ounce. These are rated for like a fourth of an ounce, right? So we're really putting those to the limit. So the fiberglass won't break as often. But if you've got, so no, Mike, you have some, you haven't broken any yet. They're graphites.
So I was just checking on that. On that combo there,
others, they'll last longer.
What I've done for that, so my rod, especially the ice fishing rod, it can't handle that. What I've noticed, or what I've started doing, is I'll open the bail and I baseball throw the sinker. Because it's not going to go very far. I mean, let's be honest.
That's awful.
I mean, left hand mean face, just throw it out there.
Awful.
But in doing that, that was because the first time I did it with a 1 ounce, that ice fishing rod's going to be toast. It's the one that I got when we were together over at Emerald Coast. That as soon as I did that, I heard the and I looked, I was like, oh, there it goes. So something's going to break it eventually. But that's what broke the other one, that the medium sized one I had before that I broke. That sinker is what it was. So that's why I switched to throwing it now by hand, because in reality, I don't want it to go that far. I mean, we're going we're within the first 50, 60 feet, if that. That's what we're targeting. So I don't know if that would help anybody else. You got to be careful with the hook, but it's that throw thing makes a difference in saving the rod life, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I've used these runt rods catching cigar minnows at the pier, and I'll lean the rod against the pier base, and if you do that with any other rod, it's going to break. But those fish will take it, and since this is fiberglass, this is the John Moore custom one. I mean, that's not going to break, right? So there is some benefit.
Nice about those.
There is some benefit, and they're not that expensive, but to have it customized like Mr. Lord did, it's just a nice thing. It really is. It really has caught some good fish.
Yeah, it's a personal touch.
It really is.
And most custom rod builders and folks that do that will do things and little touches that you want to make it yours.
That's right.
Which is why a lot of people like custom rods and go into custom rods. It's because it's theirs, and makes it. I got a question, because there's something that I've noticed using the runt rod, and you and I talk a lot about the different rigs and the downsizing and stuff like that. Have you noticed when using the runt rod in this area that you catch more of a particular species of whiting?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you'll get the northern ones. You'll catch more of the ones with stripes on them, more than you would normally catch, right? And then I catch the biggest number are going to be the regular whitings, but I have more of the northern ones. Is that the northern ones with the stripes that come on?
Yep. The northern.
I catch more of those than I've ever have too.
Really?
Yeah, I sure have.
See, I find it. Mine are the other way. Yep. I catch more Southerns. Of the bigger southern off the runt rod.
No, me too. I'm just saying that I don't catch many northerns anyway.
Okay.
But when I started using the runt rod, I started catching more northerns.
More northern. Yeah.
But I am catching more southerns overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more of the bigger whiting or ground mullet, you call them in North Carolina, and everybody's got a different name for them. But whiting, what we call them down here in Florida. So that's what we're talking about here tonight. But yeah, definitely a lot of the bigger, the bigger southerns. And again, it really forces you, and you brought it up earlier. It forces you, which is why I like it, to target that, because I'm I'm gonna throw it as far as I can type of guy. I mean, when I fish, that's what I got my big rods and I want to sling it out there as far as I can. And I overlook a lot of the fish that are up close, and the Runt Rod really makes me focus in on those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, of course, we're not saying don't ever use 12 footers or
Right.
13 footers or like you said, you got to sling it. But I think what we've learned this year, and one thing I love about this show is we're not in here as the experts. We're in here as those who are on a fellow journey to learn together, right? So we have learned in this community together, and I think we continue to learn. There's more questions that I have of why this rod is so effective. You can put the same stinking rig on a 12-footer and gently toss it in the first gut and not catch a thing on it. And then you use the Runt Rod and it's active all day long. So is the angle of the bait, it is the who knows how and why. I think is the fishing line vibrating in a certain way versus the diameter of an 8 braid or a 30-pound braid. Is it doing something in the water? I don't know, but it is a highly effective tool to catch more fish. I mean, my in-laws were in town 3 weeks ago. We went to the super secret whiting hole, and I mean, I caught 15 whiting in 2 hours, right? And the only rods that were busy were the runts. And so, again, a lot of that has to do with the time of year. There's more whiting in the first gut, but overall, I've caught more whiting in my lifetime than I ever have this year. And before, I used to never catch them. And so I think it has to do with just that gear, and I think it's something that we're going to continue to learn and grow and figure out more why it works so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bruce has a good question. Yeah, we got a lot of questions. Go ahead, Brian.
You want all right. So I'm going to back up just a little bit here. Carl, I think you answered this one. Tony, I think you answered that, the rig setup, right? Yeah, the sinker with that one. Yeah.
So there's two rigs that I've used. I'm going more towards the Carolina rig more than the Panhandle rig, which is basically a hybrid of the Carolina rig that has a stopping point where the weight will actually stop on the Panhandle rig and set the hook. But I don't think it's necessary. I think that if you want to tie rigs faster, the Carolina rig, again, you got to pay attention to the surf. If you're targeting this first zone and you're using a Carolina rig, the Carolina rig is basically going to be the most natural rig presenting the bait out there, right? And so it's going to have, the leader, a swivel. You got a bead there because you need to stop the pyramid from sliding over the swivel down. So you got a bead there, and then you tie it to your main shocker leader. And so that free flowing of the bait rolling on the ground, or the shrimp, or the sand flea, it's the most natural presentation. Size 6, size 4 circle hooks are what I use. And so, but you got to pay attention to surf. Again, using an 8-pound fluorocarbon, 10-pound 12, you're going to run into some trouble with twisting and turning of the line depending on the surf. I would say a good standard is 12-pound fluorocarbon. If you notice you're not catching anything, then go down to 10. If you notice you're not catching anything, go down to 8. I was on the pier, which the pier has done a lot to influence the way I fish for whiting. I went there with 10-pound fluorocarbon, and everybody was wearing it out with 8-pound fluorocarbon. So a small adjustment to have that variety of fluorocarbon may be what you need to have better success when you're targeting this species of fish.
Isn't that crazy? A 10-pound to an 8-pound difference, which, I mean, looking at it is like, no, it's not that big of a difference. But man, I guess those bigger whiting are just spooked by it.
I think that fish by far is the most skittish of all, especially the big ones. The big ones. Now, quick story out when I grew up in this area, right? I went to Gold Creek High School. I surf fished most of my life, Pensacola Beach. But my buddy of mine was a lazy fisherman, and he's like, and we're hurling baits out there, like you said, Mike. We're hurling baits out there. He takes his bait. He wants to go home. He's the guy saying, "Hey, when are we leaving?" He just gently tosses it, and I swear it went like 2 feet in the ocean. And no lie, they didn't take records back then. It was a 26-inch whiting that he caught right in that first gut. He just tossed it out there, right? And so those big fish are there. And I think that the more we target there, we will be surprised what we're going to pull in from 3 to 5 to 6 feet out. It could be the next record. I think the next record is going to come from this area.
Well, the last 3,
it was
right, have been in this, or 3 of the last 4. 3 of the last 4.
I forgot his last name. He's got the 2.8 something pound whiting, and there was a 2.6 and 2.4 caught, and it beat Larry Finch's 1.89, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them came from this area. So there's something special about our beaches.
Absolutely.
We had a couple more here. So I don't know who you are. Sorry. So Light Knocker, Ogden Beach. Good call. Tom. Oh, nope. Wrong one. Tommy Woodward. Where are you?
He needs to be listening to this. Whoever Tommy Woodward.
Yeah.
is.
Tommy, where are you? Why aren't you?
Where are you at, Tommy?
Just came up. Free dive Navarre. Sun's huge whiting. Oh, fine. I'm going out to the reef.
I was out there today with the RC Fishing Surfer, going down there looking at the reef for the first time. I saw some cool things today, so I'll just leave it at that.
You already answered this question about the circle or J's. You're using circles, and for those of you that didn't hear, that size 6.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and I, we were on the boat, and if you guys didn't follow that a couple weeks ago, I was using size 6 circle hooks, and that bull red I caught was on a size 6 circle hook.
Wow.
That was unbelievable.
I have grown into, it was 95% your fault. I've downsized all my hooks for that reason. Even in the surf rigs, I've dropped down to size 6s for several, especially after that, because you don't, one, I'll do the job. Sure, I'll buy that. But a small hook can still do big things. It's gonna hold unless we catch a ray, in which case you're screwed either way. But you don't need big hooks for this. You can keep it tiny and light tackle. It'll work.
My dad taught me when he was living. I did a lot of fishing with him, and up in New Hampshire. We used to live in New Hampshire of all places. That's really cold. But my biggest bass I've ever caught was 5 pounds, and it was I would say it was a size 10 J hook and a night crawler, and it was just in his little mouth right there. So I don't know what's about those small hooks. I have no idea. Well, it blows my mind that they would work and you catch a bull red on a size 6. Amazing stuff.
No, it's just like fly fishermen. The flies aren't that, they don't have big hooks, but they're still nailing these the trout and the salmon, and it just gets in there and it holds. You don't need monster stuff.
Were you targeting mangrove?
No,
we weren't targeting, but they were there.
Okay.
We were just fishing.
Yeah.
In reality,
we were just fishing. We were just dropping bait to the bottom.
We're just
hoping for a cooler full of white trout, honestly. But
I love those days. But I mean, Jack had to catch a red. So, I mean, if Jack's going to catch a red, we can't let Jack show us up.
Not at all. Who wants to go fishing with Michael Fletcher's son right now? How about that? 30-inch reds on a runt. That's amazing. And you're right. I think Mike, when you're talking about cheap versions, I think sometimes we can, I don't want to call it, I guess writer's cramp, where you get blocked in fishing, you don't know what to do, and we can really overcomplicate things. And sometimes just being simple is all we need to do.
Absolutely.
Do you remember?
Go ahead.
Let's see if you guys remember this, because I think, Mike, you do. So there's a guy named Ray when we were over at Brick House. He would come out there with his single rod, sit with his styrofoam cooler, throw it out there, and he would just be wearing out the whiting, and we're all staring at him. I think his name's Ray, and he's just so frustrating watching him crush. We're just like, what are you doing? I had a conversation with him one day. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I got to talk to him. He said the one thing that, why I say this all the time, you're overthrowing the fish. And I was like, what do you mean? How can I be possibly overthrowing the fish? The bar is right there. I am on the damn bar. He just shook his head. He's like, you concentrate on that bar all day. Have at it, bro. I'm going to sit right here and fill a cooler of whiting. You don't need to throw it that far. And he's out there with a Carolina rig on a J hook, slow reel back. Got another one. So
that's the same guy that would throw him out and then go back up to the condo. And his line would just be out there. He'd just leave the rod out there. Yeah. And that dude would tear him up. Andy with a nice 40-inch northern on his 24-inch noodle ice rod. I mean, it's
amazing.
On 2 pound line. You know what? This all right, I'm gonna bring it up. I think we overthink line. I really do, because the biggest whiting we're gonna catch is what? 2 pounds? 3 maybe. Okay, so 3 pound fish. Water, buoyancy, water, completely different weight game. Sure, the fish is going to give you force away. Are they going to pull 5 pounds of pressure off your line? Maybe, but you got drag manipulation. They can run all they want. In reality, I think we fish too heavy of line because we think, crap, I need more. I need strength.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts?
We have the benefit in the surf, if we're targeting the surf, to really go really super light, because we're not pulling that fish up a pier and have the chance to break it if we don't have a pier net. So we can just drag that fish onto the beach if we're using a lighter line. So which one are you going to try 2 pound test next?
No.
Neither. No. I'm not that crazy. I'm crazy.
I don't go below 5.
That crazy.
I will not go. I think
10.
A lot of it comes from, when we're slinging 10 to 12 foot rods, right? And 4 ounces of lead. And then you got to sling all of that plus the momentum and the shock of all that going out. You know what I mean? That's what we're accustomed to. So even when we downsize to 10 pound or 8 pound braid, right, on 2, I mean, we're still have that in the back of our mind. That's why we're so heavy with it. I think you could probably get away with like some 4 to 6 pound mono on there. You won't have as much packed on there as you would if you got a big run on a red or something. But I think you could get away with that, because that's what a lot of the smaller, like when I picked this combo up, this was a Lew's Lightspeed combo. Walmart sells them $30. You can go in there and get them, and it's pre-spooled, and I think it has 4 to 6 pound test already on it, because it's only rated for 6 pound mono anyway.
So you would have to, if you do the 2 pound to 4 pound, you would have to have that as a Carolina rig with the main leader. And so it doesn't matter what the weight is, the line will pass the leader or past the swivel, because that could be 10, 15, 20. And then the actual swivel to the main line with the hook could be 2 to 4. So it would absorb the shock. So you could really try. And I do believe that every IGFA record has like a 2 pound, 4 pound, 6 pound, leader. And I think the 2 pound tarpon record leader may be like 100 pound tarpon, something crazy. I mean, it really is crazy. So you can absorb a lot of shock fighting a fish with your monofilament that follows your main leader. And so, and I don't even really know what I'm talking about there, because I've never done that.
Oh, we're just
it sounded pretty cool.
But,
I mean,
that's what they're doing, right? That's what they're doing, and
right.
And it would be fun to try. I mean, you never know. I mean, I get bored a lot. I just try crazy things when I'm bored. Some things work, some things get in super trouble. So it's fun to experiment.
Yeah, Deerfield here, Brian and guys, caught some of my biggest fish on 6 pound fluorocarbon. There you go.
What was that fish? Comment back. I'd like to know what that was. Unless it's a secret. If it's a secret because you're trying to conceal that 6 pound fluorocarbon will catch a huge pompano, then don't tell us. But if it's not a secret, tell us what that fish is, because I want to know.
Well, backing up here with Donnie, you're right. And I totally understand. Get off my microphone, ladybug. The shocking cast, yes. But, and I'm not trying to, I'm going to say but we're not slinging it with that much force, because you're going, you're just wrist. I mean, hell, in reality, we're wrist flicking. I'm trying to keep one hand on that rod and flip, because I don't want it going far. Yeah. I want it in the first 30 feet. So that's why I'm kind of thinking like, all right, we're not going to throw that much weight with it, half ounce, and granted, the surf being the ideal thing, Tony even said it, you're not going to go out there on a 2 foot day and throw a half ounce sinker or even a 2 ouncer in the short range and expect it to stick. You're going to be wrapped up and it's going to be a horrible day. But can you do it? Sure, you can try, depending on the current.
That's right.
2 ounce Sputniks on my single droppers. I'll sling those out there all day, and it works pretty good.
A 4 ounce sinker, if you're using a 15 pound, that I have put a 4 ounce sinker on a 15 pound pompano rig, and it doesn't last. It's dry chip sinker. There you go.
Yeah.
And here's $5 more.
Exactly.
He likes it, but we don't.
But when you cast those, and this I think is kind of a technique that you have to practice a little bit, because I kind of when I sling them, I come sidearm like I'm skipping under a duck. Yes. And I come really lightly and get it out there without
dainty
very
little thing
gingerly.
you got going on there. What is that?
You look like a
little
fishing
flip.
noob. You're like,
little
Are you
flip.
chipping a shot there? You chipping one up?
Well, kind of like when we were in the boat the other day and
Yeah,
threw one up in between the dock pylons. I mean,
you proved right there that you are king Grand Monkey King Poobah kicking it under there on the boat. It was like, I'm not doing that. You were good.
And let's address this. I mean, this is counterintuitive to what we're doing in the surf.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, people don't think should be doing this. This is not real. You probably can't do this on the East Coast. Probably not. The current may be too bad. But for the Panhandle region, this is a necessity. David Thornton, he's over there on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. He always had a 4'6" rod his entire surf fishing career, and he's caught multiple fish. So he's bought into it. So it's nothing new, really. It's just new to us, and it works. And if you try it, you'll be addicted to it. You really will.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it's extremely addictive. It's something about it that takes you back to bobber and cricket fishing on the bank somewhere. You know what I mean? And you just kind of throw it out there with whatever you got, and then boom. To me, anyway, that's why I enjoy it, because you catch a big brim that pulls it down, and the drag is screaming on it. It's just it's nostalgic, I guess.
Makes every fish a monster.
Absolutely.
On a north wind day, that's what we need to do. We need to go get the old red and white bobber, throw it out on a dangler, and just here. Yeah.
Now you're done giving me an idea. Man.
Like I was thinking about, I'm like, we do have a lot of north wind days with low surf. That could.
But you got to think of how a whiting feeds, right? A whiting feeds like a drum.
I'm not targeting whiting.
They're down.
I
mean, you can catch kind of
their bottom, but I just want to see what happens. I mean, the last time,
when you're column.
Oh, a pump. Could you imagine a pump on a shorty on there on a bobber? You just watch it. There you go, Tony. Free video.
There you go. I'll try it. That's a video. I'll get people click on that.
Deerfield, actually. All right, hold on here. Let's back up a little bit here.
Did he tell us what the fish was?
Yeah, he's got something there. Lore pendulum casting. Yes, absolutely. Totally buy that one. Tom, I'm going to go ahead and drop your comment in here.
Tom.
That is a good Runt Rod setup. I mean,
it is.
Going
to try it in Virginia. Nice. You'll have some fun down there. Deerfield, mostly bass is where he's going with there. Fishing freshwater 6-pound fluoro main line, and then setting the hook like Rambo. Point is, I've caught 9.6 pound fish on 6-pound line, and numbers of those other pound. Yeah. See, to me, I go back to the diving thought with weight. You're weightless in water. A 6-pound pomp is not a 6-pound pomp in the water. It's 6-pound on land. It's light, but it's what its tail force is doing is going to get you there.
Yeah. King
pole, 5-pound test. Yeah, it's a little too. I mean, yeah. But
nice.
Richard also wants us to go. He put in the comment he wants us to start throwing 8 and bait, but we don't need 8 and bait here, man.
All right.
we don't need to do that here. And I definitely think everyone could downsize line, especially when targeting whiting. Yeah, we all could. I mean, the three of us have talked about it offline numerous times. How many times we talk about, well, what do you got on your surf rod? And I got 20 pounds. I got 15. I've got 30. Everyone has a different gambit. But in the end of this too is what's your shock leader? And then what is your rig line? Because I can run 50, 80 pound main line. Sure. But if my shock leader is 20 down to a 10 pound, okay, I'm not really firing off that. It's just, it's smaller. So kind of difference on the game. Oh, you just got another one here. Here we go. Have you ever considered salmon egg hooks?
I really don't know what a salmon egg hook is. Mike and I have used sabiki hooks for whiting. They've done it especially well.
Extremely well.
I don't know what, and those are like size 12 and size 10 sabiki hooks, and they're lights out. They're not. I think they're J hooks. They're not even circle hooks. But what does anybody know what a salmon egg hook is?
Are you talking, Donnie, the ones that already have the eggs on it?
I got it. Hang on.
Like, because that thing is it's kind of like the Berkeley Gulp type bait. And I was going to talk about it earlier.
That looks just like our sabiki hook.
Yeah, a small
Look, it goes to 12 and it's gold. Yeah, that's exactly what we use right there. So we are using them. You just told us what we're using. Thank you. I didn't have no
Appreciate
clue.
you.
No clue what we were using.
You get 50 of them for $9.
That's exactly what we use. We use 10s and 12s.
Yeah. Lord, a 12.
Yeah.
Oh.
You talking about invisible then.
Now the secret's out.
My bad.
That's what we're catching them on, folks. The
you don't need.
So I need to try it. Yeah, don't watch the replay. I need to try because I snell those hooks.
Okay.
Because you can't get the loop to go through. But I picked this up. If everybody watched the video last week, I picked up a couple of these from our buddy Chip, and this should work pretty good to pull that line and just slide the hook and everything right on through there. Yep. It's got a really small crochet hook there. So
do you have a target? They're not going to Tom open the box on this.
Yeah, so I don't know just yet. It will be next year, potentially the first quarter. So we're working on that, and I'll have two options. I really want to have a limited edition custom option, and then some that are more mass produced. So I think limited edition, you got some nostalgia there. There may not be many produced, but it will be something pretty cool to have the rest of your life, something made, and then some that will be more the similar type that you would pick up. But they'll be able to stand the test of time and not break potentially. So, as I would never say fish with fiberglass rods, right? For 12 footers and 13 footers, you'd be graphite all the way, IMX, IM6, whatever the ratings are. This is going to be more fiberglass. That's the way to go for this kind of style fishing.
Color should be Fishgum blue.
Got here.
That's what Thomas said.
I like it.
Thomas, if you've seen the prototype, it is blue.
It is blue.
Here's the prototype again.
As we've seen,
it said Runt right there.
Nice slam shady they got there.
And then we got it's the salmon pink color and blue.
There you go.
It's got the cork grip, triple grip. You got Fishgum right there. So that's the one that is the prototype. And I've got the custom one, of course, I showed you too. This is the Runt Daddy. The Runt Daddy was what I said in the video one time, and John Lord put it on the rods. So that was kind of cool.
Yep, Thomas Dean's. You can definitely use a thread needle for sewing to do the same thing. I noticed you made a post, Mr. Dean's area. You're out of Virginia Beach area.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Oh, so you friend of yours, Tony? Or
yes, he's one of our ambassadors, man. For Fishgum.
Okay.
He does an incredible job for us in that area, and he is a heck of an angler. Love seeing him take his grandkids fishing. That's the kind of things that I grew up doing with my great uncle and uncles and grandfathers fishing, and really appreciative of Mr. Dean's.
Awesome. My mom's up in the Chicks Beach area.
Nice.
So I know that area. Can it help even me become a better Chuck?
Absolutely, Chuck.
Absolutely, Chuck.
It sure could.
Already. Get out of that center part of Texas. Come here.
Chuck, you're helping us be better fishermen too, buddy.
Yeah, with that
absolutely.
Boat,
If you guys don't know, Chuck is he runs rcfishingsurfer.com. That's where we get our RC boats from and everything. You can go there now. He's also a Fishgum retailer, I believe, as well. Yep. Online, he's got a one-stop shop. You can pick up Rogue Reels rigs from him, a boat, everything you need to get you out there and start going and fishing. Yes, Chicks Beach on the Bay, Mr. Dean. One-stop shop, rcfishingsurfer.com. Got a big container of boats be here in about 2 weeks.
Can't wait. Awesome. The new fish finder, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect in time for fish in time for Christmas.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You guys haven't seen the videos of these things. Like, seriously, if you haven't, both of them have been using them successfully and showing you why they're so successful. I mean, the boat is great. It takes you out there for that range. You don't even need it just for sharking. I mean, if you want to go out there for those big reds, it's a perfect rod. It's the perfect tool. Another video that I
red snapper.
Red snapper.
Red snapper.
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
or grouper.
Yeah, or grouper.
But those, you guys have seen those bait cannons, the pneumatic. And you see when people are like, oh, look how great I'm catching these monster red drum. You realize that the RC fishing surfer can go out nearly a half a mile, which is about the same range, if not a little bit further than those cannons. You want to catch big ones? It's not hard. The boat will do it.
Yep.
So we're gonna,
would be hard, unfortunately, Andy. They like chasing.
So the people in this virtual room right here, and then the audience, I'll make a prediction. We're gonna catch a cobia from Navarre Beach using the fishing surfer when they run this next year. 3 of us will be together. We're gonna catch one.
You've been talking about catching a damn cobia from the surf, and it's been like jonesing.
It's gonna happen.
Every time you bring it up, it joneses me bad.
An illegal one. Let's make the prediction. It's got to be a legal one because we caught little cobia.
Yeah, we catch the littles every week.
It's got to be a legal 36-inch cobia from the beach.
What do we got here? There was a couple more. Here we go. Carl for one, and then we'll go over to Richards there in a second.
Yeah, you can start with you talk about your combo there, Mike. I know that there's also ones that the Shakespeare has a combo that's out there. I broke that one. That's the one I broke casting because I was using 2 ounce. I don't know what ounce you're using, Mike, but if you're using a 1 or 2 and that's holding up, then I would recommend that one right now.
Yeah, I use anywhere between a 1 and a 2 ounce pyramid. And this is a Lew's. It's called Light Speed, LITE speed. It's actually 5 foot ultralight combo. You can pick it, like I said, you can pick it up at Walmart, $30. It's a great rod. It's held up for a while. You can also do, this is Jack's. This is from Cast King. And it's another graphite. I think a lot of the mass produced ones are going to be graphite. Zephyr combo with a PC Fun. I think this is the Viper, right, Brian?
Yeah, it's the Viper.
Viper 1000 series or 500?
Yeah, I think it's the 500.
Nice.
It's a tiny little thing.
PC
my
Fun
ugly sticks. I've actually broken my ugly sticks.
Did you?
Because you can pick those up. They have a great little combo. Pick them up at Bass Pro for $49 at Bass Pro Shop. The Cast King combo and the PC Fun reel, that's going to run you a little bit more. It's going to be more like in the $100 range for everything. 80 with shipping at $80 to $100.
I wonder if you just get the rod at their website and didn't.
Yeah, you can put a different setup on it and everything.
You know what? We need to do the
most
run
of
of
it you can get into for under $30.
We need to do the run to the tackle shops again. See what we can find local again. We got them last time at Emerald Coast. Now we need to do the Emerald Coast Half Hitch, Gulf Breeze, and Outcast. We need to just make a day like, all right, what can we get on a Runt Rod set up out the door, ready to rock and roll?
Nice.
I mean, we've done those before. Yeah, I got it, Andy.
Yeah.
Those have been. I think that could be a little bit.
Oh,
well, not really easy, but not to
cool.
mention.
If you think about it, this time of age, I mean, we're all strapped for cash.
Yeah.
If someone gave me a Runt Rod for Christmas, I would be jazzed, right? Because I know what it can do. And so this is a low budget, probably one of my number one tackles to buy this year would be a Runt Rod if you don't have one for Christmas. And man, your son who works at McDonald's can buy it for you, whatever. I mean, and you'd be completely happy if they're strapped for cash. I mean, it's not a very expensive rod to have.
Absolutely.
Richard's question. I know we're running out of time here, but Richard had a question for you about Fishgum.
Any plans for freshwater Fishgum? So most synthetics will also work in freshwater. And Fishgum, I can't tell you how many photos I've gotten throughout the year when even Fishgum was launched of bass being caught, crappie, brim, catfish. We have a catfish bait called catfish candy. It's out there. But if you have any Fishgum in your tackle box now, take it freshwater fishing. It'll work now. There's a lot of similarities between the crustaceans that I use in Fishgum and the way the crustaceans are in the freshwater. There's really not much difference between what are they called? I can't think about it right now. Tell me.
Crawfish?
Crawfish. I was thinking mud lobsters.
Yeah, mud lobster. Same thing. We know what you're talking about.
And a crab. They're cousins. Yeah. One lives in freshwater. There's a lot of scent that's similar in that. And so mussels and oysters. I mean, the mollusks have a lot of similarities. So it would make sense that it would also work in freshwater.
Yeah. That's what I tell. I mean, I give out a lot of it on my charters and stuff, and especially guys that freshwater fish. And I tell them it's basically a conglomerate of everything, right? And if a fish in freshwater eats this particular item, then they're going to eat fish gum.
That's right.
It's because you've had good reports back on like walleye fishermen, they like using ice fishing,
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
Every species in freshwater that you want to catch has been caught. Now you're not. I mean, a lunker bass. You're going to be fishing different for a lunker bass.
Right.
Maybe you'll tip your jig and pig with some fish gum.
Right.
I mean,
with some smell in the water.
You're going to use other things than that. But when you're using bait, crappie and brim, it's a good choice. Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that. The old jigging pigs from the pork rind, I guess, baits or whatever on the back of your jigs. You could cut your fish gum strip into a tailor, you know what I mean?
Big. Mm-hmm.
And do something like that.
Andy wanted me to share this. Hold on, let me get to it here. He was talking about his ice fishing baits. We were talking about those micros.
That's cool.
Let's see how tiny. I mean, a lot of that could work on the runts, no problem.
That's really cool.
That's funny. I hope Jack's watching. He needs to take a look at those because he's determined he's going to use the Runt Rod to catch something small like that. I mean, he's jigging little shrimp and stuff like that now. But it's so versatile, and like I said, nostalgic for us older folks, and then it's just something cool to do for kids.
Seasoned individuals.
Seasoned individuals. Carl's headed to Walmart right now to go get him an ugly stick. There you go.
I don't know if they're going to have size 12 salmon hooks there. You may have to order those online. I would probably go with 10. I mean, I would go 10
is a safe number.
Size 12 is really, that's what you're going to, if you want to tie your own cigar minnow sabiki, that's what you would use for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, man, this has been a great conversation on Runt Rod. A lot of good questions, a lot of good comments coming in. It definitely is what started out as a clickbait
gimmick
to a gimmick and you've actually taken the trout magnets. Okay. And you've actually taken this could be a whole nother show, but your hand line stuff that you started doing now as well, just kind of on the same premise,
Yeah.
Wasn't that
that that's exciting. I think the biggest thing a hand line does, and again, the fishing surfer, there's no way I could have caught a 26-inch red snapper on a hand line without towing that out with the RC fishing surfer this past weekend. But I appreciate the way the rest of the world fishes. This is what the third world countries do. They're using bottles. Their children are catching their meal for the night. And when you're catching a fish and you're tapping into what the rest of the world does, it does make you thankful for the gear that we have.
Yeah.
But it taught me something really amazing catching that red snapper is, it's just my strength against it. Right.
Yeah.
And you really feel the power and you really see how much more power we have. Cause I mean, that thing never got the best of me. I mean, it was 26-inch snapper. I was able to get it in, but you really appreciate it. It gives you an idea of when the fish fights on your rod now, that you have more power than you think you do, right? You maybe can horse them a little bit more and not give it as much drag as you think you're doing, right? Unless you're using lighter tackle. But it really made me appreciate that as well. But that was I want to do more of that. I'd love to catch more big species. If I go after a hammerhead, I need a team for that one.
I saw a TikTok of that and I was like, these guys are idiots. I mean, they lost it three times.
You can die. You can die doing that.
They were out there going after it. They caught a shark on a friggin' hand line with the black what's it, that spool?
The yo-yos, yeah.
And you're watching the guy get his ass dragged and he calls his friend over and he's getting his ass dragged. I'm like, first I'm like, one, your ass hats. Yeah. And what were you thinking? And now that they caught it in, I'm like, that shark's gonna die because you gassed it. Well,
true.
Yeah, that's the downfall of that. Yeah.
That it's something that's OP like that you can't possibly win without a team of people. It's not going to be good for the fish.
No, not at all. Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you bringing on the show with us tonight and sharing your knowledge here on the Runt Rod craze and what started it all. And
absolutely,
and a lot of folks tuning in and a lot of good questions tonight. So appreciate that.
It's an honor. It's an honor and privilege for me. Listen, again, I have learned a ton from your show and from each other. And so I never am the guy who's an expert. I'm a constant learner. It's what makes us better. It's what makes us try things that are new. And then some things like the Runt Rod is birthed because we're willing to try things differently and maybe look like an idiot doing it. But I'd rather have 50 fish in the bag while somebody else doesn't have any.
Right.
Because I use the Runt Rod, right? So it really is an honor and privilege for me, guys. I appreciate it.
Cool, brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. We'll catch up with you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you over the weekend as well.
Sure will. Do some fishing. Bye,
there
guys.
you go.
Thank you.
Take care, Tony.
You too, guys.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
See you, bud.
Awesome
show. I'd rather be a successful idiot fishing than not catching. But
heck yeah,
that's just me.
Heck yeah, and like I said, I mean, he's hey, Beach Buzz, good to see this group. Hey, good to see you comment. Check out my hat, by the way. If you guys aren't following Beach Buzz on social media, he's got some great content, surf fishing and chicken wrangling and everything out there that he's got going on the social media videos and stuff. So
his hat that I had suffered a very gruesome death. It wasn't good.
Oh no.
Well, did you go fishing this week?
Did we fish this week? I actually went out today.
Nice.
I took the Runt Rod. Jack and I grabbed 2 rods. I wanted to go to see what this cold snap had done to a lot of the places and to see what the beach looked like in some places. It's and we'll get to it in the surf report, but it's going to be some tough fishing coming up here.
I'm not excited to show you guys windy. I'm not even a little excited.
No, not at all. Did you get out at all, or did you work this week?
No, I worked this week, and unfortunately, I had no jobs at Pickens. I was hoping.
Oh no!
I had one call from Pickens, and I was like, yes, a little run out. I'm going to go play. And unfortunately, I coached them on how to fix it over the phone, and they fixed it. Bastards! How dare you be mechanically inclined?
Yeah. Well, our question of the week this week is a interesting one.
Oh, I'm excited for your answer. I saw this question, and I was like, "Ooh, I know what you're going to say," but I'm excited.
What's the one piece of fishing gear that you have bought, and for whatever reason, you wish you'd have just saved your money? That you did not like once you got it home. You're like, this is horrible. Why did I waste my money on it? Or maybe you bought it and you loved it so much you had to go get 6 or 7 more of them. For whatever reason. That's the flip side. That's why I said for whatever reason you wish you wouldn't have. Yeah, mine is luckily I didn't buy it. I'll just say that. I was given it, and Brian knows exactly what I'm talking about.
You do hate that thing. I didn't think you would, but yeah, you don't love that thing.
So it's called the Overboard. Is that what it's called? It's made by Overboard product. It's a de-hooker that you mount to your boat or wherever. I saw it. Their videos look great. These guys are just bringing the fish up. Boom. The fish just fall right off the hook. Maybe I'm not doing something right. But I hate the damn thing. If it fell overboard, I wouldn't be sad. Let's put it that way. Now maybe it works for other people, and that's great. For me personally, I just don't like it. I like a traditional de-hooker. Boom, flip it over, done, and be done with it. But I did not like it.
It's funny because I like mine, and I lost mine.
Did you really?
Yeah, mine was plastic, and it magically, somehow, some way, walking back to the car one night, it magically jumped off my bucket, which I'm still worried about because normally I'm very good with my bucket. But the plastic one for me has worked out pretty well. But again, I think that the metal one, it's not a good handheld. It's too heavy. No. It needs to be mounted. And you got to be willing to mount it to your boat for that. I mean, they've got some great videos. They've been knocking sharks off and stuff like that. And it can be useful. But if you're handing it metal, way to go, Bri.
Yeah.
It's and this is why I need a lot out of my hand. Okay, so worst piece of gear for me was the PC Fun of all things. I'm happy to say it. Their conventional reel.
Really?
I used it for about a week, and then I took it off and have thought about burning it just, in sacrifice for other fish. Hated it. Still hate it. It's in the garage. If anybody wants it, I'll happily donate it to the cause. But the PC Fun conventional was an absolute piece of crap for me, and I hated it. I've got tons of their other reels. I got their spinners. Love those. And then the one I love the most was finding the Ultegras on the marketplace for $125.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want
Score.
like 9 of those.
Andy said he'll take your conventional reel. It's funny you bring a reel up because Steven here says the Daiwa BGs,
which is
interesting,
an oddly loved reel, and I'm really surprised when I saw that.
Absolutely. What else we got here? Carl, the Ugly Stick Big Water 10. Friggin' suck.
Fully agree. I had the 12. I wanted to break that thing in half. I was so glad when I got rid of that.
But for someone who's just starting out in fishing and surf fishing, they can be a very good for someone who wants to get into it inexpensively, because they're not that expensive to pick up an Ugly Stick. They're built like they're built like a tank. They're going to hold up to some big fish. But just like anything, as you start refining your craft and you get more and more, quality is not the right word, but maybe higher end gear. So some things are worth it. Some things you're going to pay a lot of money for, and they're not worth it.
I'd say as you get refined in the game, like once you start finding the game, once you start finding how you cast, how you fight, how you move, you'll probably find yourself going, this isn't doing it for me.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's could be. There we go. Boom.
Where are you at? Are you clicking or am I clicking?
I'm clicking down here.
Yep, I was
small
on
sand flea rig. I agree. I have one, and I don't know why I've been so lazy to upgrade, but I want one of the bigger one with the teeth on it. I want one that's about almost 18 inches wide. I want a big sand flea rig.
I know somebody you can talk to about that.
Commercial. Do you? All right. Let's make that happen.
That right
cheap sand
there.
spikes.
Ugh.
Yes.
That will break your soul.
Yeah.
Especially when it breaks.
Yeah. That's why and even Mr. Bunn, what is up, buddy?
Hey, Bunn.
Thanks for jumping in with us tonight.
King Flounder.
Yes, sir. King Flounder there. But yeah, it's bad sand spikes will ruin it. And I think, to me, the open backed one, like people make, I know Deerfield makes them. I know Beach Power makes them as well. Those opened backed ones, I don't like, just because I had a rod bounce out of it. We were on a trip, and
shut it, Carl.
We were on a trip, and I told the clients that, hey, we got something on rod 1, and they were arguing on who was going to go reel it in, and then the shark came through and grabbed it, and it hit it so hard that the rod bounced down and then bounced right back up out of the rod holder, and I was like, nope, not again. That's why I went with Curlette stuff.
You're a jerk, Dustin. You're a true jerk.
Orange cart tires.
I know where you're going with that. And Andy, I did get your text. Yes, we both know somebody for that.
Yeah,
has to do with your post. All right, where are we at now? So keep going with these ones, guys. This is great. Smitty and I are going to keep going here. Oh, I guess it's on me.
There we go.
All right, so we're going to roll into the reports here, and this fishing report has been brought to you by Rogue Reels. Use code ROGUE15 to save 15% off your order. Rogue Reels makes quality hand-tied fishing leaders like the Smitty rig at 20 foot, 500-pound class deployment shark leader, and the Demo HD double drop rig. Love it for those toothy critters. Go check them out at Rogue Reels. That's Reels with a Z. Fishing.com. Get that order in. Get set up. That thing has been real good, especially for the big drum we got coming.
Absolutely. All right, offshore story this week is wind. It has been blowing north wind all week, and when we jump into the weather, it's not letting up. However, with that said, the bite is still good. According to Half Hitch, Navarre, they just put out their report. Trolling some mackerel trees on the way out to your spot will produce bonita and even blackfin tuna. May or may not be around right now, close in. Now's a great time to stock up on bonita for next year's bait. If you use cut bonita for your bottom fishing offshore, I do. It's great. You can't beat it. If you want to stock up your freezer, we have one more weekend coming up for red snapper, 3-day weekend coming up this coming weekend. So let's get out there. Also, don't forget, speaking of snapper, lane snapper closed this month, the 15th of this month. So if you catch a lane snapper, make sure you throw it back. Can't keep them. We only have about 30 more days left to catch grouper. And you don't have to run offshore to get grouper. There's been success of trolling the deeper areas in the Pensacola Bay for grouper. Stretch 25s have been producing some nice fish, along with some nice bull reds right now. Bull reds are in the Pensacola Bay area. You can catch them on lots of different things, including just got me a good shipment of GI jigs in.
Yeah, you did.
This is the gold fleck here with the green eye A-dot hook.
So nice.
This here is the Z-Man 5-inch diesel minnow. I think this is copper or something or another.
It looks kind of copperish.
Yeah. And you figure, I mean, look at that. Pair of those two up right there. Ooh, man. If I was a fish, I'd eat it, man. I'll tell you what. It's and these things were designed. If you guys watched the show with Captain LJ a while back, these heads, see how they got the blunt area right there behind the eye? They fit perfectly on that 5-inch diesel minnow. I mean, it's a perfect fit. Little dab of glue in there. That's not coming off. The elasticity of the diesel minnow, man, they'll tear up some redfish. What you got inshore, man?
On the inshore world, we're seeing still a lot of good catches with the reds. The trouts are getting a little bit more finicky, but they're on the move. So get yourselves ready for that if you're going to start really targeting there. The one thing, sheepies, they're on the move. They're running south into happy places. So they're not all the way to the bridges yet, but you can find them. There's more reports of them coming. The snapper are still hiding in the deep pockets. So if you're heading out on the inshore side and you're maybe stop mid-bay, or if you've got a deep little set there, hit that structure, drop it deep, they're still down there. You're still going to have to fight with the pins. Make sure you got that stinky bait. Wind is playing a ridiculous factor. It's oh God, I really don't want to show you this report. It's like breaking my soul. Yes. Reds are still loving the edges of the reeds. So as you're if you're crossing on the shore and you're looking at the reed line, all you got to do is watch for that movement. You know, you got it right there. Kick it right up close to it. Go weedless. Really going to help you on that shallow stuff. That's one thing that I picked up from old Captain Bill out fishing me, showing me how to do things. But weedless is key. So go with that. The sheepies, like I was saying, structure, but they're not all the way down here. Be patient with that. This cold snap, though, is really going to mess with the fishing. So be kind of flexible with your normal spots. Just keep in mind, you know, with that wind, kind of go with the salt strong rule, you know, the one they always tell about if you're fishing that way, get behind a point, get on the leeward side. So that way they're hiding from all that stuff. Get in there and start crushing it. Trouts are loving shrimp. They absolutely love that live one. So if you want to play that one, go for it. And the one thing I will say, if you're running a bunch of bait, you see a bunch of small stuff, throw something different out there. Give them a different option to chew on. If they're eating a ton of shrimp and you throw in a shrimp, you know, maybe they're not going to find yours more appealing. Maybe you need to move to Miradine or something like that. So playing pretty fun there on the inshore world. What you got in the surf?
Good news is June grass is gone.
Yeah.
This north wind has blown it out of here. There's still patches, but they are very easily spotted. All been blown out the last couple of days by this north wind that we have. The bad news is all the north wind has slowed everything down. So it's a love-hate relationship there with the wind. Catches of pompano, redfish, and whiting are still being reported with a few big uglies mixed in. If you've been following social media, we've also had large makos have been spotted cruising the beaches here in Navarre. That has brought out a lot of shark fishermen. There was a few set up out there this morning as we drove down the beach. So beaches are not populated right now because it's too damn cold to get out there. So shark fishing during the day is not a bad idea because the beaches aren't crowded. Typically, you don't shark fish during the day. You want to go at night when the beaches are less crowded. But colder weather, your chance at a mako could be high right now. And if you saw Dylan's post, as we mentioned at the very beginning, there are still some big tigers and duskies out there. Him, No Bones Fishing, which is another shark fishing charter here in Navarre, has pulled in some nice dusky sharks this week. So shark may be the way to go this week.
Don't forget those float rigs.
Absolutely. I'm going to use a big red and white bobber since we talked about it.
Why not? I mean, what the hell? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. What you got on the pier?
Oh, the piers. Okaloosa and Navarre have been extremely active and reporting very heavily. If you're not following them on Facebook, go ahead. Get on that because they are doing tons of reports. The
and
big
Panama
catches,
City Pier too.
Oh, Panama. Yeah, that's right. He did link that one. I forgot. And Panama City has got a special set going right now. Catches are the fish that shall not be named because I don't want to die, but it was said earlier in the podcast. Bobos are still in plenty of supply. They're still running through. Kings are still here, shockingly, but you can still get your hands on them. Pompano, whiting, and Spanish have also been caught, and I still think that they're sitting around the midline. So don't need to go to the octagon for those. Those are going to sit on your surf line, kind of play it out like that. Now, something I want to talk about with the pier. I am not a pier fisherman. I never claimed to be. I don't like going to the pier because of this, what I'm going to talk about. So if you want to get into the big game, to go out there and you want to go to the octagon at the end, meet somebody and work your way in. Don't just bust in there and try to freaking get in, because a lot of them all know each other and they know how they fish. They know how to talk. They know, hey, I'm crossing you, I'm crossing me. There's not a lot of stuff. If you go out there with attitude, you're going to be given attitude in return. No one owns it. No one owns those zones. But if you're around people that fish around each other constantly, they have, like I was saying, they have communication land fish. If you're a dick, you're not going to have fun. If someone is being a total douche canoe to you, bide your time and earn that sweet revenge when they're on a fish of their life. And, oopsie. And yeah, that's a dick move in itself. But, oh, I hate saying this part. And it's aimed at one person. And if you're watching this show, you know who you are. And if you're going to act like king shit, you're really the king of shit. So if your shoe fits, wear it. Work together, but go learn your stuff out there. Don't just muscle your way in. Learn and go. It'll be fun. It's worth it. Totally worth it.
Absolutely. Everybody starts somewhere. You know what I mean? Whether it's the surf and the pier. The pier is a different animal.
It is.
And especially in the summertime, if you're not ready to, I mean, it's shaped like an octagon, but sometimes it can be an octagon when you're down there. So, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. Work your way in, meet some people, talk to some people, figure it out. And the pier can be a great alternative to fishing. I tend to stay within the first 2/3 because I'm not interested in going out there and catching stuff at the end. I know what's out there. I know there's an opportunity to catch some big fish out there, but what I'm going out there to target is all within the first 2/3 of the pier. So, especially when the Spanish are running, you're going to get a lot more Spanish in that area. Whiting, you can pick up some nice whiting. Reds, you can get some nice reds. Our buddy Frank got an octopus out there. I don't know if we haven't got to the Panhandle scroll yet. Okay, but holy shit,
ahead, man. Get to the
an octopus. Yeah. All right,
Frank.
Here we go.
Freaking Frank.
Yeah, Frank does. Frank does.
Because Frank catches, because if you guys don't follow Saltwater Yankees, Frank catches a ton of fish. God, that man can catch some fish.
Yeah. Atlanta, Georgia. Why am I in Atlanta?
Why are you in Atlanta?
I don't know.
Gross. You're not going to get very good reports about fishing up there.
No, we can do South Korea. I guess I've been there before. Or Brazil. One of the two. What we got? There we go. Well, actually, it's not much different. So 10-day outlook here in Navarre. Tonight, dropping down lows 44s, northeast winds at 11. Sunday, 57 high, low of 40. I mean, it's going to be cold all week. Now, I know people are like, oh, this isn't cold. But those water temps coming down in the night, highs in 60 is actually not going to be too bad. We do have some rain. I think prior to the storm rolling in on Tuesday, Monday may be a good day for fishing. Tomorrow, PM shower, so maybe get out in the morning. But the winds, the surf's going to be flat. We do get a change here coming in on Thursday right before that. So I think, Wednesday into Thursday may be a good day to get out there and pre-front fish, as well as Monday to get out and do some fishing. So that's all I got that's all I got to say about that.
I'm getting all sorts of text messages now after those comments. Well, that's how I feel. So
yeah,
don't know what to tell you guys.
If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't need to ask.
All right. God, I don't want to watch this again. This is like breaking my soul. All right, 9 p.m. and it only gets worse. All right, so this is just off the shore, obviously, but as you can see, it's still following. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., 15 and 16 knot winds rolling out of the northeast. And it's going to be nice and chilly because that's not going to make it fun. Into Sunday morning. And you're noticing a trend here. Holy crap. It's only getting worse. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just so upset. Like it's hurting my soul. Monday, still in the teens, still rolling out of the Northeast. Hey, guess what? I'm going to blow your mind for Tuesday because y'all are going to love Tuesday. There it is. It hasn't changed.
It didn't change. You lied.
It doesn't get better. It does drop a little bit, but I think it was Friday. Friday, it gets back into the 20s. It gets real bad. So looks like we're on Wednesday there. It slows a little bit, and it's nice here. So Wednesday, if you can play a little bit, look back at the weather there. That's going to get you a couple of hours of some fishing time in, especially with those fronts. So keep an eye on how they are with the windy. Like I said, you can see them as they move. You got the little squirrelies here. And there it is right there. 6 and 10 knots into Thursday. And it switches. There's Friday at 16 knots. And there's my number. I was pissed off at 22 knots, dropping right on your face on Friday. The waves, I don't even need to show you because it's flat, but the wind is going to be a nightmare. Another one I was looking at quite a bit here was the old temperatures. But temperatures look pretty nice. So, I mean, you can look at it different ways. I mean, there's your winds right there. Take your winds when you can get them.
Yeah, not too bad. I jumped to look to see what snapper weekend looked like, and it looks like light winds, not more than 8 to 9 knots. Blowing out of the Northeast. So snapper weekend may look pretty good. Thanksgiving weekend. So be able to get out and get some of them base snappers.
I won't be sad. I mean, if you, and I will say this, everybody too, windy is one of the ones I really watch just because I found it has been most accurate for wind. But when you start talking about a week out, the weather's never true a week out. So give it I always go about 48 hours is kind of the number that I worry about right there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's jump into the Panhandle scroll. Panhandle scroll.
Let's see if we stop. Well, yeah, I was going to say I was about to get you there. We're going to get into the fun. I was like, how many we got? Panhandle scrolls being brought to you by GI Jigs. Use code PFR for 10% off your purchase. GI Jigs are patented handmade jig heads, custom designed around the eye and made with unique characteristics to entice fish into reaction strikes. GI Jigs are also made with the highest quality material and attention to detail. GI Jigs are individually powder painted and meticulously cured to have one of the toughest finishes on the market, and it's got UV happiness if you haven't heard us talk about it. So again, go use that code PFR to get 10% off your purchase and get yourself set up. We got the nice one. We got the normal GI Jigs you see us, and then now that we know about the jig heads, this is going to be sweet. So
I got ounce and a half, 2 ounce, half ounce jig heads. Man, I'm set and ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go catch some redfish.
What you got on your scrollage, sir?
All right, scrollage coming up. Let's see here. Present, share screen, Chrome tab. There we go. All right, few things on here. This person, Entertainer Bait and Tackle. If you guys haven't followed them, they've jumped up. Them and the Lillian Bait and Tackle are 2 stores that I've just been following all of a sudden lately. Plenty of bait. Got your fiddlers for your sheepies, got some pinfish, some live shrimp. If you're going to go target those mangrove, you definitely want to make sure you got some live bait with you because they do get finicky. Old Richard Jackson here with a nice redfish. Look at that bad boy. Beautiful fish. Oh, did you get this one in your scroll? That's another one we've got.
Which one?
That's another bonefish.
No, I didn't get that. When was that? November 16th.
This was just recently. That's the 4th one that I know of that's been caught up in this area in the last couple months. Okay, these bad boys. I see this one a lot. Please be careful. We call these oyster toads up on the East Coast.
It's shocking.
They will crush your hand. They will crush your finger. They will crush. I mean, they crush shells with their mouth. That is an oyster toad. Toss him back. He's not good for anything. But I do see that fish ID on a lot of times, and that's what those are. All right. I don't know if this is one of them. This is from this is why we said earlier, get out there and start loading up on bait because the piers are loaded. I I mean, look, you can start seeing. Now this
What's
video
that?
is mostly upside down because he's dropping it down. But cigars, I mean, it's just the piers right now are just full of bait fish. Now the cold snap may have slowed them down a little bit, but I mean, you drop a sabiki down there, you're going to load up.
Like John's comment, I broke my monitor.
This one I thought was pretty good. Paul Zimmerman out there in Choctawhatchee Bay, 3 and out in 45 minutes.
Oh, that's a great day.
Hit low and slow, and then the rest of the time he was drinking him a beer on the way out.
He only
DOA
had one.
got electric chicken there on a jig head there, but yeah, 3 nice trout, and then he did only have one. Look, just this one beer, and then
that's all he was able to get to.
yeah, and then he rolled back in 45 minutes later. Boom. Again, not a bad day. Pensacola Bay. I tell you guys folks a lot that you can get some nice red snapper out in Pensacola Bay.
Where you at there?
And it's not too hard to figure out where they're at. That's one location. There's tons of places.
There's so many places to fish for those.
But I will say that, just for reference, is a big white house. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know where that's at.
Now we're never going to be able to fish
there. Dude, there's so many spots out there. This is what we were talking about. If you guys haven't seen our buddy Tony, who we just had on, that's a 26-inch red snapper, 160 yards out. Couldn't have done it without the RC Fishing Surfer. So if you guys are interested in getting one of those, go check them out, rcfishingsurfer.com. But on a hand line, a Gatorade bottle, and just horse that thing in there. That's a nice fish. That was definitely, I'm sure, some good eating right there. Panama City. This is why I brought this up on the pier. This is where all the kings are right now.
Yep, you got me.
Panama City is loaded with sharks and kings. Oh, did you have this one too?
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. I didn't know about this group, Pier Junkies. That's a pretty good one. So I saw a few things in that one.
Yeah, I started following that one today.
And this one I thought was brilliant. So our buddy Brian Curlett over there on the East Coast is planning on going to do some red fishing up there in Georgia and stuff. And at nighttime, temperatures are getting bad. So what did he do? He just built his wife a nice handy heater mount for his surf cart. And Brian is a fabricator by trade. So, but he just made him a little post with a clamp over there with his propane bottle. Boom. I always got him a nice little, yeah. You heard that in Hank Hill's voice, didn't you? Propane and propane accessories. But yeah, put him in a little heater there, man. And he's out catching fish. So staying warm and catching fish. Brilliant idea. I don't know why we all don't do something like that. But that's all I got, man.
It's so bad when I think of Hank Hill. I mean, the only thing I see is Beavis and Butthead as the neighbor.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Mike Judge, damn you for ruining or making my childhood great.
Yeah.
All right, here we go into the old Frank. Why is this doing this?
What did you do?
Thank you. Frank got himself hooked up on a 28.5-inch red. There is another picture coming shortly after that. But he was out of there on the mid part of the pier. He's probably down closer towards the octagon, not completely there. But again, you don't need to be at the very end to get into the monsters. It was a great catch by Frank. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into Frank here. Since we're talking about Frank.
Look at that. Who catches an octopus? An octopus.
Frank does.
Frank
he did
does.
give it back. I mean, I'd be down to try it a different way, but hey, he caught an octopus, and I think that's pretty.
Is there a
badass.
limit? I don't think there's a limit on octopus.
I don't think there is, but I mean,
could've...
I would try it.
Hey, when I was in Korea, they had some good octopus.
Yeah,
barbecued octopus tentacles were so delicious.
That's
a street food. Street food,
dude. Okay, I'm gonna pause here. Overseas street food is glorious.
Yeah,
like Thailand, chicken on a stick.
Yeah. From some old lady in a back alley. Just delicious food.
Yep. I mean, it might have been cat. I don't care. It was damn good.
Kyle, what's up, buddy?
Yakking with Jack, crushing his sheepies out there. And if you guys aren't following Yak with Jack, and if you're not following him and seeing the fun banter that's running back and forth between him and Lawless, you guys are missing on pure gold. Just a great sign of two friends having the best time and just living their best lives.
Absolutely.
Bun out there nailing it, getting some nice reds and a nice that ain't a red. That's got some vampire fangs right there. But crushing it out there with his fish bites on the dirty boxers. Love that stuff.
He was sight fishing some redfish on the fly rod earlier too.
Yeah,
Dude's
I thought about
an angler.
So Sean had a fun one here. Look at that eye. I mean, that's a red.
Yeah, but it's just
the eye is just like I had to stare at it a little while. You poor thing, what happened to you? So that's a pretty creepy red. But again, awesome catch. Always fun to see that. Come on. Wait, why is it not? What is going? Oh, did you delete it? Oh,
what? Did I delete it?
No, he deleted his post.
Oh.
That sucks. Okay. Well, caught some nice pompies out there. Went out in Navarre. Caught some good ones.
Nice. The Bond Secure.
Yep.
Them dudes tore it up.
Robert's been after it, man. I felt bad. I had to delete this post. It was in the Panhandle surfing. I'm like, can't do boat stuff, dude, here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look at that. They just got right after it. So if you're not following on Ball Secure Butchers, you're missing out. He's got a couple of tournaments coming up. A lot of fun stuff. How am I not following? Oh, I'm following it on Finding Demo. That's why. Follow it that way. Because I know I was like, I know I got this one.
Yeah.
What? I clicked the wrong button. Gulf Coast Slow Jigging. I've told you guys about this one with Ryan. I mean, dude, does it get any better? And he's just slow pitching and crushing it. They just opened another group, which will be coming up soon. But slow pitch jigging it really is successful, and it's a fun thing to learn about. Where am I? I am on Sean because Sean is catching ridiculous fish.
Yeah, he is. That's a hell of a redfish right there from the beach.
That spot too. I mean, that's a very, very nice one there.
Fort Morgan.
Frank. Panhandle. Nope. Panhandle inshore fishing. So he owns his own.
Different Frank.
Yep. I was like, no, it's he's been getting out there and he's been getting after the trout, and that little guy right there just doing the job. So
that's Chris Schubert, man. He'll tell you. Mirrodines, man.
He loves that Mirrodine. But he's been really doing some good stuff. So if you're not following him, hop on over. He's got some good stuff and some tips and tricks. You already showed that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two kinds of people in this world, and I am not one to eat them raw.
What?
I can't.
Oh, some hot sauce and a saltine, man. Patrick's my people, man.
I'm a fan of. Now, on that same note, I will say this: I have never tried them raw. I will start with that. I actually first tried oysters for the very first time about 3 months ago, and it was the worst experience I'd had at a local restaurant. I'm just going to leave that alone because I'm going to call it a one-off here in Navarre. You can guess the name of it because it's the only one nearby.
Did you bite into it?
No, I scooped and got a whole ton of shell, and I'm pretty sure I almost lost a tooth. I was pretty pissed.
But no, that's bad.
I went out and did that tournament with Bill, and we stopped and had oysters, and I had baked ones, and it was 3 cheese and Cajun, and I would have probably ordered 30 of them. They were delicious. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to figure something out here, but I'd agree. There are 2 people who do, and they don't. I'm liking mine baked. I will admit that.
It is getting time to eat them too. Because
is it
to me months at end and are. Okay. Because they're a filter, right? So you're not going to eat them during the warm months. That's another conversation, but that's why people get sick when they come down here on vacation and eat raw oysters in August or June and July because they're full of bacteria. Anyway,
well, I know you can get them here local at Where You At Seafood. I know they have a ton. I've been in there a couple times, eating lunch because it's a really convenient place to eat lunch and it's delicious.
Yeah.
But they've got plenty in there. Talking about no bones, we were talking in there. He got that dusky.
Yeah.
They've been crushing it. He's always had great charters, and he's a great guy. You can also bump into him when he's over there at Navarre or at the Half Hitch. Yeah. So can't miss him there. Other than that, that's my scroll.
Nice. It's a good one. I mean, for the weather being as kind of crappy as it was this week, just wind wise, if you got out there, you could probably still get some fish. It just a little bit slower. What's that?
I'm just now seeing the comments from my scroll. Kyle going after Frank.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. He's an all right guy.
Food poisoning in Osan from fried shrimp. Really?
Yeah. That was like years ago.
That's fair. Bought a pair of Waterland sunglasses yesterday. Can't wait to get them. Got the $5 2-day shipping. Should be here
Did
Saturday.
you use my discount code?
That is a good
I hope you did. Hope so. Save you some
Why
money.
Wouldn't you? I mean, it's right there.
You're going to like them, Carl. You're definitely going to like them. They're super light. They're not as heavy on your eyes as Costas can be. Yes. All right. Yeah.
Good man.
But yeah, super light. You can wear them all day. Great polarization too. So 1992. Yeah. I mean, I'm an old man and I won't tell you what I was doing in 1992.
I was 11.
Actually, I just joined.
Every time he throws a date out there, I'm instantly like, I was this old.
We just like messing with you, Bill.
This is why Bill hates me. This is why Bill doesn't want me to come fishing with him anymore. But I am a good net guy. I will give him that. I am a good net guy.
Red rigs for the surf.
And don't forget to tag us on your catches if you do get out, whether you're offshore, inshore, any of that. Panhandle Fishing Report on all platforms where we can see them. It's a little harder to filter, but Instagram, Facebook, you can tag us on that. And hey, you're also more than happy to send them to us in PM. We're happy to see them and we'll get them up. So keep sending those good catches. We want to celebrate you with everything you're doing out there in the water and crushing it. We love it.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, one of the easiest things to do is order you a rig from Rogue Reels.
Yeah.
His redfish rigs are amazing. But redfish rigs, these made by Rogue Reels, Rob over there, Rob Foster definitely make some high quality rigs over there. Or you could just use a big Carolina rig setup, something in the 30 to 40 pound leader material with a 5 to 7-knot hook. Will do just fine as well. Sling that out there on a big piece of cut mullet, and you should be hooked up pretty quick if they're out there and in the area.
Well, good luck getting out. Good luck, Richard. Yeah. Hope you get something with antlers and fills that freezer.
Absolutely. Next week, we got Perdido Blaine's going to join us, and we're going to be talking. He did a great video recently on the lessons he learned starting up his guide business. And we live in a great area, and I see folks all the time that want to start up and answer questions on people that want to start up and start doing a guide business and want to know the ins and outs. Blaine did a really good video on it. We're going to have him on next week to actually discuss that on the lessons he learned. As he went through the process, because he's also he runs trips over there in Alabama as well. So there's things he did over there that he didn't have to do here and vice versa. So that's going to be a good story, I think, because I know there's a lot of folks that always talk about, hey, I think I could do this and I want to start it up, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just going out and fishing. And it's a huge mental game as well.
Not as glorious as it seems. One of the things that I've had on every podcast, and I've talked to a charter captain, has said the same thing in the beginning. It's the constant worry of putting people on fish.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest stressor. And you think, oh, I can do it any day. Yeah, you're not fine until, hell, you've told me that. Like, I just got to get them on fish, man. Just got to get them on fish.
Yep, absolutely. So that's going to be a good one. Great to see Blaine back on here. What size hook is on the Smitty rig?
Is that a 10?
Rob's on here, so Rob can probably answer it, but I think it's either a 16 or an 18-aught that we went with. I can't remember the final on what's on there. I want to say 18, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Barry, you know it. That's the truth, man. That's that mental game. Barry runs BS Surf Fishing over there in Jacksonville. So he's in that area. 16-aught. Okay, we went with the 16. Is he going to say it's not Jacksonville? It's not New Smyrna, but don't tell me. Hang on, it's gonna hit me because I always get those two confused.
He always
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine. There you go. Yeah. I was waiting for Barry to start. I'm like, I could see him.
Barry will. He's probably typing it. St. Augustine. But man, we've been going a little over an hour and a half. So appreciate everybody sticking around. Great information passed tonight. Hope everybody gets out there and does some fishing. We'll be back next week, next Friday night. right after Thanksgiving. So you guys enjoy time with friends and family, and just enjoy being good people out there, man.
Yeah, not asking much. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will see you all next week. Don't be late. Music.